Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Bannon or Airspeed Prime. I am the site super moderator for Avatar The Last Airbender Online.com, and I'm here with the episode commentary for episode 120, Siege of the North Part 2, the second part of the finale of the first book of Avatar The Last Airbender, Book 1 Water. And I suppose the first thing to say is about this episode is that the other two episodes have been complete setup for the events of this. This is kind of the epic episode of the end. Those two episodes were amazing episodes, but this one, like, you get most of the action in this. You kind of have the whole season ahead of this as kind of development leading up to this battle. You know, Aang knows waterbending a lot now. Here is the battle. Zhao attacking the Northern Water Tribe, and he wants to kill the Moon Spirit to give them the advantage. Again, as we saw last episode, Zuko captured Aang. We see that Katara really cares about Aang. There are kind of tears in her eyes, and she feels a bit of guilt about not being able to protect it. She was a bit overconfident with Zuko. And then the fact that they mention Momo by name, you stay here, Momo, in case Aang comes back. They consider Momo just as much of part of the group as say Sokka or Katara or Aang. And then once again, Zuko has not thought things through, just dragging Aang through the desert, has no idea what he's going to do next. How will he ever get Aang home to the Fire Nation? And here's the spirit world, and yeah, this is the first time we kind of really see. We saw it in 108 with Roku, when Aang met with Roku, but this is really the first time we get to see a lot of the spirit world. We see Enma, the monkey spirit, here. Well, I don't know if he is the monkey spirit, but he is a spirit, and you can see he's kind of annoying. He gets annoyed by things easily, which makes him annoying to us. And we see Aang follows this light, and it leads him to Avatar Roku for help. We know Roku wants to help Aang because of, as we find out later in 306, the Avatar and the Fire Lord, Roku's kind of involvement in why the world is as it is now. He needed to be more decisive, and he thinks Aang needs to do decisive things now, so he helps him to do that with advice. Zuko had said loads of stuff still not kind of going right for Zuko. He finds the shelter there. I find a bit of a rest for Zuko. Something goes right. He finds the shelter. There's some history about the spirits. The moon and ocean spirit crossed over to the physical world and have physical forms. And then we see the thing of Roku, and the Avatar in general only knows one spirit old enough to know about when this happened, Ko, the face stealer. And this kind of tells us the Avatar is old, but not as old as a lot of the spirits. Which again asks us, you bring up the question, what is the origins of the Avatar? How did the first Avatar come to be? Did the spirits decide to kind of make the Avatar exist? Did they kind of create the Avatar spirit? That sort of thing. I wrote a fanfic on it. If you go to Avatar The Last Airbender Online, it's called Avatar Origins, and I deal with the kind of first Avatar and stuff like that. Again, I don't claim to be an amazing writer, but I think it's an okay story. I kept it in canon kind of as much as I could. Obviously fanfiction is not canon, but you know. This speech from Zuko here tells you kind of how just he feels about himself and life. Everything is going wrong for him. Everything's going right for his sister. You know, he thinks by being out here crossing this kind of icy tundra on his own, he's kind of doing what he's meant to do. Again, he thinks everything's going wrong for him. He knows this. And we see the kind of brute strength of the Fire Nation here as they break through the walls of the Northern Water Tribe. The kind of the ground assault breaks through finally after a naval bombardment. And then again we get the thing that if their assault takes too long and it gets to nighttime, the waterbenders will be able to come back at them and win with the power of the full moon. And here's Han again. Again, it makes you hate him in the first one, but do you hate you just kind of bring up the thing like, do you hate Zhao or do you hate Han more? And I think it's definitely Zhao, just because like he's disrespectful to Iroh, he's disrespectful to Zuko, disrespectful to Aang. And then we'll come back to Han in a second. Here's Zhao on his flashback to Wan Shi Tong's library, which kind of sort of tells you about why Wan Shi Tong is the kind of way he is in the episode The Library when Aang goes there. This is probably the main thing, like him letting a human in nearly led to the death of one of the spirits. Yes, the spirit was replaced with Yue, but you know it led to the death of kind of, I don't know like how the spirits interact, but like maybe one of his friends, sort of that sort of thing. Coming back to Han again, yeah, Zhao kind of like tossed him overboard. He basically it's like Han committed suicide, and the fact is he fell from such a height. He fell like horizontally at such distance that he didn't go over the kind of, he didn't hit the deck of the ship, and he's in like full Fire Nation armor, so like, and we never see him again, so like maybe he's dead. And then the face, we got the thing from Roku about called the face stealer, and then we see a monkey with no face. And there's a reference that you see we get the kind of Avatar state voice there, the Avatar voice. Aang is being assisted here as he comes in here to meet with Ko. Now here's you have kind of Ko's cave, and again we get this kind of dark vibe from it. Interesting thing about Ko is that we're kind of told about him that he's a bad spirit, yeah. But the thing is, he gives Aang the knowledge. He tells him. He tries to steal his face in the process, but he's not like, no, I'm not going to. He doesn't kind of like blackmail him and say, I'll give you the information if you give me your face. It's like this kind of this rule of Ko's power. Like he can't just take someone's face. They have to express emotion around Ko. And then we get the thing about Koruk and Umi. Koruk is the previous water avatar, and his wife got her face stolen because it also brings up the thing is Ko something to do with the kind of discipline of the avatar if the avatar is bad, in that like he takes Umi away because Koruk was not very active as an avatar. I'll come back to that again when we cut back to Ko. Again, like Zuko, bad situation. And then they mention, they bring up the thing, they could die, both of them could die in this blizzard. And then come back to Ko. As I was saying, there's so much we need to know about Ko. As I was mentioning, I asked him a question and he just answered it. He answers it in a bit of a riddle, but he answers him nonetheless. And it's just this kind of interesting thing, like what kind of drives Ko? Why does he help the Avatar so easily? Is Ko kind of like isolated by the other spirits? Is he kind of cursed with this thing where someone has to express emotion around him for him to steal their face? And then the voice is just amazing. Tui and La, there we get their names. The dance, all these comparisons, push and pull, life and death, yin and yang. And Aang instantly realizes what brought him into the spirit world in the first place, seeing the two fish rotate around each other in the eternal circle sort of thing, yin and yang. And Aang, fun-loving and ever, realizes like, yay! And then, it's like, no emotion, I better stop. And you're just like, you see the panda, you're like, hey boy, yes! And you're just like, amazing reference back to an episode, like, hey boy might have been just like a throwaway spirit, but they reference him again, it's just great. And they also reference him in Escape from the Spirit World, which I think I mentioned in another video. You know, they're 4 webcomics, they're on YouTube. I highly recommend looking them up. They are 100% canon, in continuity, part of the story, and they explore kind of Aang's Aang kind of reconnecting with the Avatar state, the Avatar spirit, after he is kind of killed and resurrected in 220. And we see the full moon now has come up, and the water benders are attacking back and gaining advantage once again. That this battle is completely dependent on like the moon, the sun. It's back and forth that way. The waterbenders will gain advantage at nighttime with the moon up, and then the firebenders will gain advantage in the morning time. So Zhao decides to get rid of that and give the Fire Nation the advantage the whole time. In turn, kind of gaining him the biggest victory probably in Fire Nation kind of history after the genocide of the air nomads. Though it will be interesting to see if that's ever referenced by people of the Fire Nation, how they feel about the fact that it was their nation that wiped out the air nomads, except for Aang. And again, it's as if the spirit, or the Avatar spirit, knows that Aang is needed to help the spirits, so they assist him getting his spirit back to his body. And again, stuff just will not go right for Zuko. I've probably said it 100 times already. You know, Aang tries to escape on him. Aang is assisted in gaining consciousness again. He captures Aang again, and then Appa comes in. Then Katara annihilates him again. But one thing goes right for him, is that Aang realizes that there is some good in Zuko because of what happened in the Blue Spirit with Zuko saving Aang from the kind of fortress. So they save his life there. And then we see Zhao has reached the Spirit Oasis. And as he takes the Moon Spirit out, the place goes red. It kind of it's like the moon kind of gives the ice water its kind of blue color. So we see that the waterbenders lose their waterbending power because the Moon Spirit is gone. Yue said before, that's what gives them their strength. And we know that the reason that Aang and Yue only feel this is because Aang is the Avatar, so he is connected to the spirit world through that, and Yue, as we will see here. We see Yue owes her life to the Moon Spirit. She would not be alive if not for the Moon Spirit. Some of its life is in her. And just a little thing that Yue's name means the moon. And Zhao realizes that he has the Moon Spirit in the bag, and he just kind of loses it and goes crazy with power. Zhao the Moonslayer, now the Invincible. And you kind of wonder what his troops around him are thinking. This guy's crazy. And then Momo just comes in and kind of makes fun of Zhao. But like it is like insane that Zhao is so intent on gaining power that he will completely break the balance of the world as a whole just to gain kind of a place in the history books, gain power, gain kind of a reputation. And we see the wisdom of Aang here as the Avatar. What he says is true. That keeps balance. Aang is the Avatar. He has to keep balance. And here is probably true. Hearing Aang say this, he realizes that Aang is good. Zuko catching Aang is not really a thing anymore because the Avatar is good. We know about Iroh's trip to the spirit world. He is kind of a spiritual guy, and we see. You sort of wonder there, did Zhao put that back because he listened to what they were saying, or did he just do that because to fake them out? And we see the moon go missing there, and then we see the sheer power of Iroh here when he just jumps in. Like you see just the size of his kind of like just simple punch fireballs compared to like other people's, and it's just amazing. And we see the color drains out of the world here, except everything except Yue's eye color, which is blue, because she has the like moon spirit life energy left in her, and then the Avatar spiritual energy is the only thing there. And that's such an epic line from the Avatar state there. It just takes over. No, it's not over, in that kind of echoey, like ethereal voice. And then the fact that the colors drained out, and then the music, the ocean spirit music starts. Everyone in awe. This is the kind of magic of Avatar as a TV show. Like, consider this is a show that was shown on Nickelodeon. Has there ever been anything this epic on Nickelodeon? And the only reason it can be like this is because it's a serialized show. There's continuity between every episode. We see the ocean spirit joins up with the Avatar spirit, and you see the waterbenders bow down towards the spirit, but the firebenders don't, so they get wiped out. And just the sheer power, you can sense the kind of ancientness of the spirits of the Avatar. That this is a massive moment. We get the feeling that, you know, that just there they didn't kill those people, they just kind of washed them away. And here's where the assassination attempt from 118, I believe, comes into play. The big confrontation. They had one in the third episode, and here is where it happens again. Zuko furious with Zhao, where they're going to have a proper fight. Both of them ready to fight. We see how much Zuko's improved, and we also see that Zhao has improved a bit too. And that bending is kind of like one of the only colours we see still. Again, we see the eye colours there. Katara and Iroh don't have any colour in their eyes, but Yue does. And she realizes that this is her destiny. This is what she has to do. And Sokka kind of realizes again he's been given a task to protect her, similar to the one he was given by his father to protect Katara. And the kind of guilt that Sokka will feel over this kind of not stopping her. Again, this is a Nick show. Look at the epicness of this episode, the kind of emotions here. It's full on war. Like someone just gave up their life to save a spirit. They had had a romance in the previous 2 episodes. We see the kind of just unbelievable power of the ocean spirit combined with the Avatar state, just wrecking those Fire Nation ships. And just the way like that is the only thing pretty much with colour in the kind of thing. And just how epic Aang looks inside it. and like Yue kind of fades away because she has kind of become the new moon spirit. And this moment, like, she appears to Sokka. And again, you just have to say, this is on a this is on Nickelodeon. This probably aired after SpongeBob SquarePants. How epic is this? Again, all of this is kind of based on previous episodes. Things set up then. We see the ocean spirit here. Put Aang back on purpose because they can't show Aang as killing anyone here, as we'll see coming up. So Aang does not kill anyone here. We see the colours return to the world now that Yue has become the ocean spirit. We see Zuko has become the complete. He is such a better fighter than Zhao now because of his uncle's teachings. And we see Zhao's plan has failed. The ocean spirit's back. We see the compassion of Zuko there. He tries to save Zhao. Zhao takes his hand back, accepting, kind of like, as in he knows that, like, he sort of realizes that what he was messing with here, how wrong he was to try and kill the spirit. He actually killed one. He's like one of the only deaths we see of this series. Again, it's just implied that he's dragged underwater and killed. And then just, you know, they have won the war, but at like a cost. We presume Han is dead. We presume Yue is gone now. Katara is now a master waterbender. Haku has pretty much made her Aang's teacher, because Aang has to go and learn earthbending now. And then the kind of conversation Sokka and Arnuk have. And another first episode reference here. I mentioned this in the first one as well. Zuko says he's tired. A man needs his rest. Again. Just bookmarks on the series for Zuko's story. He didn't listen to Iroh in the first episode, but he does here. He sleeps. He realizes that, like, listening to his uncle is the best thing for him. And then just the hug between the two. They've realized how kind of emotionally draining these events have been, showing the kind of Katang relationship. You know, they've won one battle. They realize, yes, they have hope. And then just this way to end it. We kind of hear Ozai speak for one of the first times. And we're just like, it's Azula, it's his sister. And you're just like, oh my goodness. Season 2. I need to see Season 2 right now. And yeah, so that has been, that's me finished with the commentaries for Book 1. And I'm just going to finish off this with a kind of comparison between the finales of the 3 episodes. You can compare them to the original trilogy of Star Wars, how they end. Episode 4, A New Hope, ends with a victory for the rebellion. There's a victory for the rebellion here. Episode 5 ends with a defeat for the rebellion. The hero injured. Luke gets injured, and we see in 220, Aang gets injured. It's a loss at Ba Sing Se. And then the ultimate victory in episode 6 and 321. So I will see you again for the next episode commentary for Season 2, Episode 1, Episode 201, The Avatar State.